Welcome to Impact Voices, a podcast on the people, the science, and the network that drives HIV prevention research in Africa. Impact Voices walks you through the journey to accelerate the development of vaccines and new technologies to combat AIDS epidemic.
Greetings everyone, my name is Jabulile Sibaya. I'm a Community Engagement Manager for IAVI, and I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of Impact Voices. So today we're going to talk about the MAGY study, which is a multi-site adolescent girls and young women study, focusing on young women who are prone to being infected with HIV between the ages of 15 to 24. So stats shows us that the highest rate of new infections is found within that age group, and particularly for those adolescent girls and young women. In MAGY, we are engaging with adolescent girls and young women as part of the broader science to try and find solutions and HIV vaccines to prevent the infection of HIV amongst this group. So today we are hosting our youth advisory group ladies. So these ladies are representatives from 4 clinical research sites across Africa. So 2 of them are from Zambia, from an organization called CFHRZ, and 2 of them are from the Oram Institute, based here in Rustenburg, South Africa, and 1 is online, and she is based in Uganda, UVRI. Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to our podcast for today. I've got beautiful ladies here. Can I get a round of applause? We've got an audience, a beautiful audience in this place who are going to be part of our conversations today. So we've had beautiful presentations from the 3 ladies, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. But before we go into conversations with you, can you kindly introduce yourselves, who you are, and what you do outside research?
Thank you so much. My name is Margaret Selemani. Besides research, I do quite a lot of things, but I'll just mention a few. I'm a community journalist, volunteer under the BBC Media Action in partnership with Restless Development under the Tikambe project. I'm also a radio presenter at Radio Chimwemwe. And lastly, I'm an advocate, an SRH advocate. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Malebo Mokgethi. I am one of the CAC members here in Rustenburg, Oram. I am currently doing my bachelor's in commerce for public procurement and with the University of South Africa. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Lebogang Mothobi. I'm also a CAB member here in the Rustenburg Oram Institute. Apart from research, I have my own foundation, Lebogang Mothobi Foundation, where we focus on school children. Anything that would hinder a school child from going to school, my foundation ensures that we take care of that. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chabota Hampongo, and outside being a CAB member, I am also a student at the University of Zambia. I'm majoring in development studies and minoring in project management.
Thank you. So we started with the introductions because we would like everyone to understand that before they are involved in clinical research and supporting our sites, they've got lives. So we took them out of their lives and said, come and join us in our struggle, in our endeavors to find solutions that are basically tailor-made for you as young people. So I'm going to, before I ask questions, I'm going to open it up. I know people are burning with questions from what you guys have presented. So anyone in the floor who would like to first go?
I just wanted to understand, what have been some of your key successes in the way that you engage, to gaining access at these youth-friendly corners or in the clinics where you're working? What's been your approach that you think has led to you being successful?
I think one of the things that has really worked for us is approach matters. And if you really want to get something from somebody, you need to know how to approach this person, because we have people with different personalities. So one of the things that we do is, I think it's also important to do your background check. So there are some institutions where we are not really allowed, like you just go there like boom, and then you are able to get what you're supposed to get. So for us, we first go there and just get permission first. Let's say it's a church. I'll give an example of a church, because a church is a very tough place to penetrate when you really want to get information, especially something that has to do with sexual reproductive health. So in this case, we ensure that we go there and just see the relevant people that you're supposed to see, and just tell them what we are all about and what we do. And in that case, at times they give us the permission, at times they don't give us the permission. So I feel like the way we approach certain matters and certain people also matters when it comes to this study.
I would also like to add on, it's very good to use the right language for the youth, like slang. They like slang, so using the right language for them to understand better is a great approach.
I also want to appreciate the component of being humble when you're talking to people your age. So you really want to be out there as their friend, not as a person who's coming from a research institution who is more learned than them, or whatever case you're thinking you are, because in that way they're not going to open up to you. So you really need to ensure that you hold these conversations with them in a very casual manner. Everyone is at ease, not like they're writing an exam. Just let them express themselves, and then you'll be able to pick one or two things from there that you're able to share with everyone.
Excellent. I had a question.
One of the challenges that we face as researchers, particularly dealing with adolescent girls and young women, is the fact that there is a layer of complexity which comes because of involvement of their parents and guardians. How would you comment, or how would you advise us in terms of strategies to use to be better able to engage adolescent girls and young women, bringing in their parents into the picture as it relates to the work that we're trying to do on finding this sexual reproductive health interventions that are going to be beneficial to them?
Okay, that's very interesting. So something that we need to put in mind is that in as much as we are working with young people, these young people are coming from homes. And we say these young people, others are with their biological parents, others are not their biological parents. And one thing we can do in order to tackle that issue is not just focusing on young people, but also let us focus on their parents and the guidance. What do I mean by that? When we go and we have let's say the mobilization process, when we're having young people there, we should also ensure that we get to have a time to just meet the parents, like sensitize the parents about the program which has come. Sometimes you might even find that the parents are the ones that are going to be able to talk to their children and tell them about the program, and they'll be able to bring them to the site. So in as much as we are just looking at young people, we should also ensure that the parents are also incorporated in these programs.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. So just raise your voice a bit.
Okay, so I think the meeting that we had was a step in the right direction, where we had various stakeholders sit on the panel, where we had researchers, we had a parent, we had all these important people that are needed for research. So I think we need to have more of those dialogues where we give parents an opportunity to sit at the table of decision making and let them just express themselves about how they feel about their little ones taking part in research. I think from there, then you'll know the best approach to take in involving them.
Thank you. So I'm going to take two more questions.
Good morning. Thank you very much for the various presentations, very insightful. But I wanted to approach you personally in terms of what is the driving force for you? What is it that is motivating you to do this job? Because you've come out from doing a lot of other things, it's a lot of work. What is motivating you? And what else as researchers can we do to help you be more motivated to continue doing this job? Thank you.
That's a brilliant question. Very brilliant. Thank you.
All right, so on a personal scale, it goes back to the reason why I decided to start a foundation, because I saw gaps that needed to be filled, and with that passion, volunteering into research also helped in terms of school children. I engage with them and having to find out that they have lack of information, certain things that have to do with their health. So that on its own also gave me a drive as to why I should volunteer in research. And with that, I am able to dream of one day my foundation partnering with the Oram, so that whenever we can have men-to-men dialogues, we can have girl-to-girl pep talks, we can have situations where we understand our community. And what was the other question?
So what support would you need?
Oh, resource. Be the bridge between us and the government. Let us be able to get into places where we cannot get into ourselves, but with y'all's help, we are able to get into, knock on doors that are closed, but with the help from researchers, we are able to get in those.
Interesting. Anyone else? Yes.
I would also like to add on, I would say it also starts at home. Looking at your siblings and then looking at the environment you live in. So it's a huge, major contribution to that, and looking at your peers too. So yes.
Okay.
I'll just add on what they've said. Something that's on a personal level, something that's really motivated me to take part in this is because I have been doing some voluntary work under the sexual reproductive health. And so when I heard about this, I really got interested because where I'm coming from home, we get to find that youths of my age, like my fellow peers, are struggling, especially when it comes to something that has to do with their sexual reproductive health. So I thought maybe adding my voice, or maybe adding my hands in those works, I think it will really help. So something like that really motivated me, because I am a young person, and obviously I like it where there are young people, where we are discussing something that is going to build us at the end of the day. Sure.
And as you answer, please don't forget to add what type of support you need.
Okay. So for me, basically, I was engaging in meetings. When you hear there's a meeting on HIV sensitization and whatnot, so you attend such meetings, and then now you hear statements like HIV has the face of a woman. And you're like, what? How? Why am I HIV? Why is my face on it? So now when you look at the meaning of that, it simply means that most of the infections, or the statistics show that women, or adolescent girls and young women, are the ones that have the most infections of HIV. Then I thought, what can I do maybe to just be part of the change that I want to see, especially when it comes to that statement. Then I figured the possible way, one of the ways I can do this is finding an entry point in how I can interact with these young people. And I took interest into wanting to know more. When there are such meetings, I'll make sure I attend. Then, I got linked with the Center for Family Health Research in Zambia. And now I was feeling like I was actually contributing in the little way that I can to the change that I want to see. What help? I think I will go back to her request. We want the help of everyone in the room to help us open doors to certain doors that we can't manage to open. So, for example, sexual activity is not something that we usually talk about, but it's something that is happening, and we can't put a blind eye. So now we want your help. How do we make it a normal thing so that we're able to help the bigger population out there? So now we need you to come in. We need you to go into those rooms where you can explain, to say there are these young people that are willing to make this change. How do we help them? So basically that. I don't know how I can put that in one word, but in those lines.
Thank you. I'm hearing resources.
So I like what you had to say about HIV in the face of the woman, because I often think the missing person is the man in that picture. I think we know with HIV spread, it's mainly heterosexual, intercourse that has been happening throughout sub-Saharan Africa, and I so agree with you. I'm going to ask the difficult question that most men wouldn't ask, and I'm asking it of you. What is a man would I need to do, or an African man that I would need to do to be able to reach you in us preventing HIV and us changing the face of the HIV pandemic here in Africa?
That's a brilliant question. Thank you so much for that.
Okay.
For all of you. Yes.
Yeah, it's a difficult question. Okay. So basically, I think there's a gap. Okay. So we're empowering our girls, our young women who are leaving the people they are having intercourse with behind. So now you get to have a kind of situation where you have this empowered young woman, but who has not a match up to standard. So I kind of feel like, in as much as there are these interventions that are addressing adolescent girls and young women, or women in general, let's not forget that they're going back to have sex with a man, or since we're talking about heterosexual infections. So I think we really need to keep up to speed so that we change the narrative. Remember, if the gap keeps widening, then I remember someone yesterday used the statement of mopping the floor, not closing the tap. So that's what we have to do. We really need to look at how we can be able to strike the balance between the two and bring this up to speed, and also the other population up to speed. Yes, so we want to find a way we can involve adolescent men as well, just so that we can have that equilibrium in the numbers.
And I think it's a good question, Hiran, because we're already experiencing it. If you can remember, in one of their presentations, they mentioned that the sexual partner's influence, it's very, like you can see it, it's real. They are the ones who are influencing them, whether they can join the study, stay in the study, take contraceptives, use condoms. They can't even negotiate condom use in some instances. So it's very important to be bringing that element, and I'm happy that you asked the question. Any other addition?
So this is really common, like where I'm coming from. When we get to go to a health facility where they are providing contraceptives or these sexual reproductive services, you get to find that mostly the people you'll find there are women. They'll be the ones collecting the contraceptives, collecting the condoms, and then at the end of the day are going to find that even if a woman gets a condom and then they go out there and try and give it to their partner will still refuse to use it. But this person has made an effort to go and get the condom. That's the problem that we have. So at some point we discovered that it was a challenge, and so when we decided to go and have a discussion around it in the churches, we did not only focus on the girls, but we also had the guys in there. So we brought them together so that we can discuss with them and just talk about these things. And yes, guys really admitted it, to say we don't like it when our girlfriend comes with a condom, because it means maybe she has been sleeping around with different men, and then she brings a condom to me. I'm the one who's supposed to provide a condom, but in the actual sense, they don't even have a condom. So I think in this case, I think it's very important to be having conversations not only with girls but with guys as well, so that they can be able to even encourage their partner to go and collect a contraceptive whenever they don't have any.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies. My question, I think I've got two. I just want to find out as to how do you deal with explaining confidentiality to the participant, especially those minors who have confided on you that they are sexually active and then their parents don't know about them. So how do you deal in terms of confidentiality? And then the second one is because we are having a problem of our participants not wanting to use the condoms because their partners are the ones who are deciding what to do in terms of a sexual act. So how do you convince your MAGY participants that they also have a right to decide whether we use condom or not. Thank you.
Thank you. So just for everyone's benefit, remember they are CAB members, so they might not be having one-on-one sessions with participants. However, I know that they do get involved in retention activities. So maybe the question would be, during your retention events, how do you engage with the participants, addressing your confidentiality issues within the retention events? And yeah, I think we can take it from there. And yeah, because I know that especially Oram, you were part of the retention event just now on Saturday. So maybe you can take us through what activities you guys were involved in.
Right. Okay. So with the confidentiality part, as I mentioned earlier on in my presentation, that at the CAP retreat we went through our constitution, of which that part was specified, and we all signed that we are going to be keeping whatever information our participants keep us to ourselves and not shared with anyone else.
So key point. As CAB, they've had a meeting as CAB where they discussed their constitution. So CABs need to have constitutions, and within the constitution you are also given a confidentiality, a non-disclosure agreement where you are supposed to sign to say, when we meet up with participants during retention events, we are not going to disclose anything regarding the participants. Okay.
Also, we do sign a consent form before taking pictures or videos. So it's one of the important things. Another thing is that when we engage with our participant, we make sure that we go on our casual clothes for them to feel more comfortable. And then we also speak their language. We make sure that they don't feel like outsiders. So we make sure that they feel comfortable, they can confide in us. And then we can make sure that whenever we have a meeting, we oppose that, and we do say that on your studies you're doing this and this and that, and the participant don't like it. So that's how we communicate with the Oram Institute.
Brilliant. Thank you. As we've been having our conversations, I would just like you guys to tell the audience, what is MAGY? What is it all about? What are we doing in MAGY? What is the study about, and how has your involvement been in the study?
Okay, so looking at MAGY, just its latest, like MAGY, it's a multi-study for adolescent girls and young women, of which this is a study that focuses on the young women's well-being, of which it also incorporates the issues of certain things that are happening in our communities. Let us talk about issues that relate to sexual reproductive health. So even as we are explaining this to young people, obviously they are not going to know what MAGY is. We are the ones who know what MAGY is. So for us, our job is just to tell them what it's all about and what's in it at the end of the day. Sure.
Nice. So Lebo, can you add what are some of the prevention package deals that we've given you guys?
We're talking vaginal ring.
No, the prevention.
The prevention.
Yeah.
Okay, let me start with what I had in my head first.
Yes, that's fine.
Right, so our involvement with the MAGY, so as the Community Advisory Board members, we serve as a bridge between our sites and the community. We represent the community, specifically the adolescents, and we take information from the community back to the site. So I feel as though as CAB, there's a point where we lose ourselves a bit because we turn to think that we are representing the site and not the adolescents. So we need to disassociate ourselves with the site and focus more on the community and make sure that any myths and misconceptions on the community we take back to the site and rectify that this is what the youth want, and how can you as researchers answer them in a manner in which they understand, which is that goes back to our job, getting back information from the side to the community in a language they understand.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's excellent. And what services do you access at the clinics?
So we have our young people accessing contraceptives. It's just about the decisions that they make, but we have that service. We give them contraceptives, we offer them condoms, we offer them, what else do we offer them? Yes, STI management. Then we also notice that our participants are victims of sexual gender-based violence. So there's also that package where they get to have counseling on site, and just so that they can get the help that they need.
And do your sites offer PrEP?
Oh yes, and PrEP too.
And can you just tell us briefly, anyone, what PrEP is?
PrEP is an injection that you use to prevent HIV. So basically, you can use it if your partner is sick or you don't know their status, to prevent in a long run. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe if you guys want to add on.
And I also like to explain the full name, that it's pre-exposure prophylaxis. So from the you're able to tell that you need to take this before you're actually exposed, and then pre-exposure, before exposure, then prophylaxis. I'm sure that's not my part. Inside prevention, the medicine that protects you. So basically, you're able to tell them that.
Okay, well, a round of applause. Our time is up. It has been an interesting session. Trust us, you will see us on TikTok, you will see us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere where you find young people, that's where you will find us. Thank you for viewing, for listening, for being part. Till next time, girls, let's sign out. Thank you. Signing out. Well, we have just completed a very, very fruitful session with our adolescent girls and young women. We've had such meaningful engagements with them, and I hope you took something for yourself from the information that was shared today. Make use of it. Keep in contact with us on our socials. We're looking forward to engage further with you. Signing out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Impact Voices. We hope you enjoyed it and found it enlightening. Stay tuned for more episodes of the Impact Voices as we explore the vaccine research milestones together. Feel free to share this podcast with your networks and to follow our story on iavi.org/our-work/advance. This podcast is made possible by the support of the American people through the U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, through United States Agency for International Development, USAID. The contents of this podcast are the sole responsibility of IAVI and do not necessarily reflect the views of PEPFAR, USAID, or the United States government.